As many of my regulars will know, we play a lot of viewer submissions on this channel. In addition to playing specific decks that people send in, I also do what I call build-around submissions, where someone could submit a card or subset of cards and say, Jeff, build a deck, focus on these things, let's see how competitive we can try and make something. And this was a build-around submission for the Freljord landmark Howling Abyss here, which is a very powerful late-game card advantage engine. 7 mana landmark, so these are cards that take up your board space, but they don't attack, block, or take damage. And at the start of every round, it creates a random level 2 champion that's not in your deck, in your hand, that's not in your deck or in play. So, basically, the idea here is, I was looking at this, and this is the type of card that, against most other mid-range and control decks, Howling Abyss should, generally speaking, go over the top of whatever they're doing, so long as you can get to that late game portion of the game and be stabilized to get there. So what I've done here to pair with the Howling Abyss was, for starters, I felt like I wanted Targon to be my second region, because Divergent Paths helps us find Howling Abyss consistently, in addition to being a good answer to opposing landmarks. And then, once I was in Targon, I started asking myself, okay, what's one of the best ways to stunt opposing aggressive decks? And because my build around wasn't linked to a champion, I had a whole range of champions to pick from, and I think the Daybreak package with Leona is a really fantastic way to blunt the aggressive deck. So, not only is Leona a good rate as a 3-5 that's done something for a turn for 4, but, you know, we've got Solari Soldier and Shield Bearer, and, you know, even like Daylight Spear, Always Sunny, and Runeterra as a 5-5 for 5 is a pretty good rate. And then for my second champion, I also picked another anti-aggro champion. So we've got Braum here, who makes Poros and levels up into things that kill other stuff. And then we've got other good things that blunt aggro, like Tavern Keeper and Sentry and Guiding Touch and Omen Hawk, other low curve things. So the basic idea is Howling Abyss with Divergent Paths to find it consistently. Let's just go over the top of other things. And then we've built the rest of the deck in a way that will hopefully allow us to not die in the early game, so we can get to the point where our card advantage will let us win the games. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games here with this and see how it goes. Does the Mobilytics app work with the mobile version of Runeterra? So I don't use Mobilytics desktop app, so I'm not familiar with that. I don't believe their desktop app works on mobile. Mobilytics as a website can integrate with your Riot account, which lets you directly push things. I think I'm mulligan this. I have a 1, 2, 3 curve here already, which lets you push decks directly to your Runeterra client anywhere. But their mobile site, or their website, is different than their desktop client. Is an important thing to note. Able to get my first Radiant Guardian read yesterday. Man, did it feel good. I agree with your assessment that it's easy to snuff out and might not have a place in control decks like Lex Ash. Yeah, Disoriental. I don't know anything about this game, but my best friend, who is also a sub, says it slaps, so here I am to learn. What's going on, Joseph? So, my number one piece of advice, and the easiest way you can tell this advice is genuine, because I'm going to tell it basically tells you to turn off the stream or do something in addition to the stream. Definitely 10 out of 10, the best way to learn the basics to Runeterra is just play a little bit of it. So it's free to play to start, like all these games are, and their tutorial is very well done, and their tutorial contains a bunch of extra additional levels that are optional. So I recommend playing through the tutorial and playing through all the optional levels as well. They give you a really good rundown of how the turn structure works, the priority system, and all those things like that. Good evening, it's Jason. Then after you do that, feel free to pop on in and ask questions about specifics. We're always happy to help. Here, I have to decide. I think I want to play the Solari Shield Bearer. My opponent is an Avalanche deck, so they could play a Sweeper here when I do this, but I can do this plus this, and they get a decent attack in here, which is nice. DJ Squarespace, thank you for the 7 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Remember, things can attack the turn you play them in this game, but if I play something out, then my opponent also gets a chance to play something out. Opponent is playing Trundle Oriental, and they just played Hatched Egg to draw 2 different dragons. I feel like there's a good chance my opponent just drew Eclipse Dragon plus Orient Soul.
Welcome to the tipsy hour.
Alright, so again, I could have attacked with just these and gotten a hit for 7. I played a unit, then they played a unit. I think I'm okay running any of my weaker things into this, because again, damage stays on units across turns in this game.
I've carved meat bigger than you.
We're giving up an Omen Hawk here to put a damage on here and put 7 on their face, which seems like a good exchange for us. How good is Braum with +2/+2, chat? Pretty good. See some folks in chat using the Vikings command. I've got a promo running with them. They're a PC and mobile game for the rest of the week until Sunday. If I manage to get 200 people that download the game using my link and play through the tutorial, I get a bit of a bonus on that. I appreciate everybody that takes a couple minutes out of their day in order to help me out with that. We played the game on stream earlier this week, Tuesday. That was yesterday. It was just yesterday, right? All the days blur together, chat. Is a Stream Decker a separate app, or did they build it into the game? The thing that lets you mouse over things is third party in this game. That being said, even though the deck tracker tool is third party in Runeterra, Riot is a real software company, and their client has a real API, so it's not just like reading out of a random text file that's generated like it happens in Magic Arena. There's real support for developers to do things around Runeterra. There's the Avalanche, we've been kind of worried about. That's fine. I think we just play It's Always Sunny here. It's a 6/6. So normally, Daybreak only triggers when it's played as your first card for the turn, but Always Sunny in Runeterra here says it's always day for you, which is nice. Except for when they silence him. That's fine, he's still a 5/5. Evening Beard Princess. Oh, and sorry, gameplay distracted my shilling. If we hit that goal for the Vikings game, Christy and I are going to be doing a Thanksgiving cooking stream the week of Thanksgiving here in the US. So yeah, so they played Eclipse Dragon, so that probably means we're getting Orient Soul next turn off the Dragon's Clutches like we talked about. What do you mean API? API, I forget exactly what it means, but basically it's an official way for third parties to interact with your software, is what it boils down to. I don't know which of these I want to generate here. Feel like we're in trouble here with Orient Soul coming down next turn. Application programming interface. There you go. There's the exact jargon. I suppose we could just do this into Howling Abyss. Is probably the line next turn. I think that's the line. So we get to bank the spell mana here. I'm gonna start the turn by attacking, because again, I expect my opponent to have an Orient Soul here. So I want to try and prevent that. Want to attack before they play their giant 10/10. Just another Eclipse Dragon. Okay. Draw a landmark from my deck, and there's only one landmark in my deck, so we know what we're getting here. Yeah, basically, Claire. The API is what if you've used Mobalytics and you've linked your Riot account, you'll know there's a button on there that allows you to push a deck to your client right from their website, and the API is what makes that possible. Without an API, you can't have that kind of integration. This was the Howling Abyss build around Lampton. So when I do build around submissions, I rename them to whatever makes sense based on what the build around was. There's the Orient Soul we knew was coming.
The heavens diminish without my attention.
So I think I just play Garen here.
We fight for those who cannot.
Hey, I'm glad you're enjoying it, PZ. It's a lot of fun, I agree. So if I Innkeeper, I technically have them dead to open attacks, right?
Good times, good friends. What could be better?
My, how they stare.
That's really good, chat. So the problem here is if I play Ashe out and my opponent has another Orient Sol in their hand, Orient Sol is the Sky's Descent here, which is 2 cheaper for each dragon or celestial they have. So the Sky's Descent currently costs them 11, which they can play. I think I'm supposed to open attacks. It's close though. I think we're supposed to open. I think we're supposed to open attacks and hook Orient Sol with the Braum. This forces these to trade. Yeah, they're just dead. Okay, sweet. Yep. Wow. I wonder, like, their hand must just be a ton.
Is friends we made along the way.
Like, their deck just must be a ton of clunk, huh? Because, like, they had 11 mana. They had so many cards in their hand. Yeah, they were at 6. Like, they're dead to open attacks there, assuming they don't have Frostbites or healing. But, like, they had so many cards. It's like, we had Hearthstone lethal, but, like, usually there's interaction lurking. Crowd favorite by simply not playing Leona out on my turn. Seems fine. Lead on Omenhawk here.
2, 3, 4.
Gonna get that bonus into our deck right away so we can draw cards with it sooner, hopefully. Hush, little Teemo, don't say a word. Daddy's gonna block you with his bird. The Rummage discarding double Scrap Scuttler there is real brutal. Yeah, right? And, like, that's a good example of, like, you know, like we talked about, the Hush change wasn't a strict nerf, right? It was just a change.
Time for the main event.
I think this archetype that we played against twice now to start the night is easily the biggest winner of the Make It Rain nerf. I think this deck will be a real contender alongside the what's it called? Alongside the Pirate aggro decks for best aggro deck in the format. What did Hush look like before? It cost 3 mana and it made a copy of itself when you played it. That was fleeting.
And if it helps.
I would like to block.
Take a real close look at the action.
Believe or burn.
My voice.
I just go wide here. I'm gonna start by attacking.
Rules are made to be broken. Like buildings.
Or people.
You should try blinking sometime.
Do I heal this? Is that crazy? I feel like that's not crazy.
Welcome to the tipsy hour.
feel like having a 3-5 probably saves me more than 3 points of life.
See the Demacian border from here.
Close though. We're high-ish. Ish. Emphasis on the ish.
Let's talk about your task.
So, this has quick attacks. They were trying to shoot this, so that way they would quick attack it down. They get to quick attack down my Innkeeper, but that's fine. I'm going to pass here, because again, these Daybreaks only trigger through the first card I play in a turn, so they're not currently Daybroken. I can bank this mana into spell mana.
Made to be broken. Like buildings. People.
You should try blinking sometime.
So I'm going to go ahead and lead on Solari Soldier here to trigger that Daybreak. That means this Shield Bearer will level this next turn. We're going to use this Meteor Shower to kill Jinx plus the Zonite Urchin. Really, really great mid-range tool, this one. Yeah, the unplayable one. $34 months? Well, I love Runeterra, love the content, and excuse me. And me and my girlfriend voted on our first election because the annoying orange needs to go. Thank you for the support, Baron. I really appreciate it. And thanks for participating in the electoral process for the first time. Hopefully we have lots of folks like you this year. Unfortunately, they got to level Jinx here with the Augmented Experimenter, but it is what it is. This is their second Jinx as well, though, so, like, if they're not really lucky, hopefully the third Jinx will be buried in their deck a little bit. If they're fortunate and their next Jinx is pretty high up in their deck, we're going to be in trouble if they play a third Jinx next turn. So, hoping to dodge that one. Maybe this is wrong. Maybe I'm just supposed to, like, hope these are enough and play the Howling Abyss. How do they fit Teemo, Sub, and Draven? They only play 2 Dravens. They play 2 Dravens because they play a Draven's Champion or whatever it's called. Draven's biggest fan.
I'm on the verge of something. I wonder.
So they play 3 Jinx, 2 Draven, 1 Teemo.
Forward in the name of the Solari.
Just gonna go ahead and play 3-2 out here.
Work to do. Look out for Reavers.
Fall, heretic! You cannot sway me.
Hopefully this is something castable that we draw here. Oh, I'm so dumb. My 4-4 should have gone here, and my 3-2 should have blocked here. I should still have a 4-power thing. The reason why I didn't make the good play is because I missed it.
Ours is the one true light.
Alright. Having an extra blocker is really relevant against the aggro deck, so we'll see if that comes back to bite us or not. They've drawn through an extra 6 cards now, so we'll see if they find their last Jinx or not.
Let's take it outside.
Yeah, hopefully Howling Abyss. Like, we've stabilized into the mid game here, right? Like, we're still at 17, so hopefully this is gonna let us take over.
Time for the money makers.
Sure. So we get to draw 2 cards a turn, and every one of them's a level champion, so one of them's a level champion every time.
Now we're cooking. Watch and learn.
He is quick attack, yep. Just lightning beams.
What's my name?
Alright. If we can dodge a jinx, if we can dodge a 3rd jinx, we can dodge a ball, chat. Go get him, Valor. Go get him.
Demacian needs heroes. Still heart.
This has Scout.
It's our time to shine,
So
Valor.
there's Valor. Hook that. Is this 9/9 good? If so, please explain.
My blade grows restless.
Cite your source, yep.
Death itself can't stop me.
Death itself can't stop me. Have some axes. You're dead. Like I said, we were able to dodge the 3rd jinx there. Ended up being real good for us.